Hey guys, Paperbird here. So decided to take a break from reading all these writers that end up committing suicide. For me, one of my favorite things about vacations, aside from taking in the new culture, going to art museums, classical music recitals, educational stuff, is to curl up at the end of a long day in bed with a comfy read. But sometimes you fuck up on the algorithm and you choose a book that's so completely wrong that it puts you in a totally different universe. This book here, The Tartar Steppe by Dino Buzzati, quite possibly one of the most depressing books I've read this year. This guy, he struck me as the kind of guy who didn't require the use of an antiperspirant. You hope that you can come across the unexampled in your reading life. You go through these peaks and valleys, and you push yourself further and further out there into these desolate stretches of desert frontier, hoping that this mythical literary creature will just come up over the horizon and tear you from limb to limb. At the same time, you want to conquer it. You want to show off its sawed-off head to everyone else in town. There's a sort of vanity, glory, hero aspect to it, even though there's no town really nearby for 20 miles. At the start of your career, you don't really require those special sunglasses in order to stare at the sun. You feel invincible, even though, being dropped into this mental maze, this fortress, just straight up is bad. You get bad vibes. You'll be like, I want to get the fuck out of here. But there's the old guard there to welcome you and encourage you, because they can see with your youthful exuberance and enthusiasm that it kind of reminds them of how they used to be in the past. And so they paint this picture of life out here on the frontier where really it's not that bad. You're well fed. It's a sausage fest, but it's not like prison where you have to eat sausage at both ends. And the duties are real simple. All you got to do is walk up and down these ramparts and keep your eye out for these things called Tartars, even the use of the word Tartar has diminished over time.
Basically, you're just...
The exit's always over there. You can just leave and go back to the comforts of the life that you came from, but then those become less attractive, those words, all that language that you left behind. Obviously, the only enemy out here really is time itself, like the boots of this aptly named soldier named Angustina, who he is just the wrong kind of kit to be wearing out on this long march that he finds himself going on, and to the amusement of his other soldiers, they're just laughing at his hubris. But he just presses on forward, and you eventually get to that point where you don't even notice all the pebbles and rocks just pushing into your flesh over time. You just become numb to it, sort of like how you become numb to reading this book. Then it's too late. The shadow has fallen over you, the shadow being more real than the flesh that's casting it down, because the shadow doesn't care whether or not the flesh is living or dead. You look up and you forget the fact that you're surrounded by other humans and not just a collection of molecules it wouldn't make much difference to put a bullet through. Staring so hard out at the sun that you forget the fact that you're casting a shadow, and that the shadow is dancing all around you, and the solstices and equinoxes pass you by, and even the fortress itself is acting as an instrument of time. But what if the restitution and justification for all this waiting doesn't actually arrive during your lifespan? What if your life was just a stepping stone for future generations to trot upon without doing any of the heavy lifting? You peel away the illusion of choice, and that peach fuzz on the bottoms of blonde-haired angels just turned out to be you holding your own hairy nutsack. Was it only ever just a fight against time and desolation?